I believe that the difference between sex, sexuality, and gender is that sex is what we are assigned at birth based on genitalia, sexuality is what we are attracted to, and gender is how we identify ourselves based on categories such as man or woman. According to Kramer, sex is a physically based category and gender is the meaning attached to sex. I believe Kramer is correct, except for when defining gender as the meaning attached to the sexes, because gender is different for everyone, and their term can have absolutely nothing to do with sex. In the social world, I often have had trouble defining what sex, gender, and sexuality were. However, when I understood that sex is already defined by my anatomy, and gender and sexuality were left up for me to decide, understanding these definitions became easier. I believe that classifying gender as socially constructed means that the term gender does not exist. Still, humans needed categories to vocalize the physical differences between what is classified as a man or a woman. Constructs such as gender are what we cannot see. Still, they are created by society to explain differences between an individual who has a penis and an individual who has a vagina. According to Kramer, sociologists believe that gender is socially constructed and that the difference is not based on biological truths. Some people think that the genders of men and women are the natural categories that people with a vagina or people with a penis should fall into, solely based on biological truths. In society, as far as social constructs goes, I've stood firm in acknowledging that masculinity and femininity are socially constructed. However, with gender, I've had a hard time mainly because the social construct of gender is attached to our physical bodies, unlike masculinity and femininity, which are more connected to behaviors and qualities. However, after reading the material and understanding what a construct is, it has become easier to look at gender as solely a social construct, which is the categorical explanation of anatomical differences, meaning that gender can be whatever we construct it for ourselves personally. I believe an example of people breaking gender conformity in the past is a famous basketball player named Dennis Rodman. He played for the Los Angeles Lakers. His style, such as wearing crop tops, bell bottoms, excessive jewelry, and makeup, which would be considered feminine, is an excellent example of a trailblazer who breaks gender conformity of a man dressing in regular shirts, jeans, limited jewelry, and no makeup. We have gendered certain clothes to be more feminine or more masculine, and we look at people who wear clothes outside of those gender labels as trying to just like a woman or trying to just like a man. According to the Genderbread Person version 4, gender expression is how you present your gender through actions, clothes, and demeanors. Gender expression is usually correlated with gender or gender identity. Gender conformity in the past meant conforming to the two genders, male and female, meaning if you're a female, wearing clothes such as skirts and crop tops, which align with how the female gender is expected to dress, was gender conformity. My example of Dennis Rodman, however, is an example of a man who did not care about gender conformity or care if their gender expression did not match their gender.